This is a picture that I come across. It was still on my phone, and I've gotten rid of a lot of old pictures and stuff of my kids um, because I am very caught up, or not caught up, that's not the right bar. I'm very, um, the scripture that talks about not having any graven images, um, that's actually part of the uh, Ashar, Ten, Debarium, Words, what folks call the commandments, the Yod commandments or the Ashar commandments in Albrith, or what English Ten commandments. The reason I won't speak Ten, you look up Tin in your research. As far as God, Tin was a mighty Rasha, mighty Akkad, a very Evil, Akkad. And once you speak Tin or Ten, it's pronounced the same, different letter in the middle, but pronounced the same. I'm very strict on my Lushon, and I don't overlook because it has a different letter that it's a different debar. I don't play that game. If it's pronounced the same, it is the same. It's just been disguised over again. But anyway, where it talks about not having any graven images, and I know that pictures of family and children and stuff bring up a lot of emotions, or even if you find a picture, not me personally, but even if you had found a picture of an ex or something from a long time ago, in the normal person that's of the Dabal, the WORLD, that's going to bring up memories, and whether they're tube or whether they're not tube, it's going to cause your emotions to act out, and either you're going to be really sad or you're going to be really glad, but that was in the past. You can see your kids as your little babies. It brings back a lot of emotions, and it can bring back a very sorrowful emotion to you, your feelings. In other words, we have to be careful with our feelings, quotations, because your emotions, your feelings are a playground for the shadim, or the demons. But if you're having trouble with your children now, if a band of yours has shunned you and you see pictures of him as a child or growing up, and you can get really sorrowful, and you concentrate on that, and then your gladness for that Yom has been stolen from you because of an emotion of seeing, a child of yours that has no longer nothing to do with you for whatever the reasons. That I do experience. But anyway, the graven image thing, it's a very, very deep study. Very deep study. Therefore, you wonder, can you have anything at all with images on it? And I know that there's a context for that. And of course the ball sees it their way, but through the Abraic, or what people call Hebrew, lenses, as we're learning, that it can mean something entirely different. I have not, and I need to, and I will. I need to get my scriptures out, because I have a 4x4, what they call a 4x4 scripture. It has the Abrith in the Authuth, aka pictograph, the Paleo, the Babylonian modern Hebrew, and then the pagan English. I really need to get that out and dig into that verse, because that verse right there is something that needs to be dug into. It really does. But I told you all that to tell you, to bring you here. This was a picture that I didn't know I still had. And it was, you know how the computers and your phones, they store them in different places. And you're like, oh, well, I didn't get to that place yet. But this picture popped up. And I was looking at it. And it didn't have the Abrith on it like you see now. They didn't have the Authuth, aka pictograph, on it right now at the bottom. It just had a picture of my youngest Ban, and I call him Banny. That is not his original sham. His original sham is Colt, C-O-L-T. But coming into the learning of the Shamuth, or the Names, and then of course learning what I do, a lot of deep word origin, and the origin of everything matters. Colt sounds too much like cult, like C-U-L-T. And I was having a problem with that, and I talked to him about it, and we discussed that I'll call him Banny. And Banny in Abrith means my S-O-N. You know, Ban means S-O-N, and Bani, with the Y at the end, means my S-O-N, my Ban, you know, Bani. That's how I'm going to refer to him from here on out. But anyway, this is a picture of Banny, and we were on a cattle farm at the time. We were living on a cattle farm. Let me get this thing off of here. Okay. This is on my, you know, I can't get it to blow up completely as it is because I'm recording it off my computer screen. But anyway, me and him were in a different relationship at this time. He was about 4 there. He's 17 now. And we were living on a cattle farm. And this calf, me and Banny called Possum, because you just, you know, I don't know, the sham just stuck. So this is Possum, and Possum had been someone's pet calf before he was sold. Possum was very gentle. Banny has a very gentle rook about him when it comes to a lot of animals. When Banny was younger, he was more kind of like a cod on a cod, O-N-E on O-N-E, with, you know, certain animals. He would go up to them and touch them and have more to do with them. Then when he got older, he still loves animals, but now he just kind of, you know, shies away from them, but still loves them. And right now his new thing is, and I hate to call him an obsession, but his new desires are like all about dogs. But he's been through the calves, you know, the horses. He loves cats. But right here, he loved cows and calves, you know. And this was a very gentle calf, Possum. And Possum came up to him that Yom, and I happened to get this caught on camera in a picture of Banny and Possum, you know, touching little heads like that. Banny always would do that with certain animals when he was a lot younger. He would lay his head on top of their head. It was precious. He would do it with dogs that we had, you know, cats, calves that were friendly, you know, horses, anything. He would lay his little head on top of their head, and it was just a very special moment. I was going through scripture, and I wanted a certain scripture, but this picture popped up, and I was like, wow, this is beautiful, you know. And then the scripture, do you know, I haven't even wrote what scripture this is yet. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there for a second. But the scripture is, let's see, I'll find it up on here for you. Some of you probably recognize it. whatever version you have, this is not a version I go by. It's just something that popped up here on the screen. It's under what they call Corinthians, but in the Albright it is called Corintine. Corintine. Team. It's written Qurantym. Corintine. But here they have the C word. Y'all need to know something about that C word, that CHARITY. Don't be speaking that. That is a Rasha Maniakad. Okay, don't be speaking that to bar. Love is usually written here. Love is patient, love is kind, and then it goes on, a little bit more. But as it's written in Albright, it's written like this. Come back down here. Let me get off of that. Okay. You see right here, where's my little crochet hook I usually use for pointing out things? I think I might have moved it. I usually keep a little crochet hook over here for this reason. Anything would work. Here's a little crochet hook I never use. Okay. Right here, it starts. There's the ha, the aleph, the ha, the bat, the ha, and then you have, and that is ha ahaba. The first bar is ha ahaba. This is written in the Ha'uthioth, or aka pictograph. Beside of that, you have the mam, the aleph, the rash, the kaf, and the tau. This right here is normally by its own. Y'all hear my washing machine. It's early in the Bakar. I had to get washing done. But the A-R-K, Arak, that is a debar on its own. Arak means long suffering, or suffered long, or long. And then you have the mam in front of it. Now that's a prefix in front of it. It doesn't just flow with the bar, on its own. It has the mam in front of it. And I'm going to show you this on my paper here when I break it down. I'm just kind of going over it right now with you. And then the tau is at the end. That is, I know the prefix is what they call a suffix at the end. That's, these two have been added to this word to make more of a sentence with it. And then here you have the aleph and the the aleph and the pa. It's a mouth right there. And this is up. Now down here, you have the ua, you have the ayan, the shan, and the ha. And that is uasha. And the last bar, you have the khat, or, kat. And it's pronounced like the H, when you normally have the H with a little dot underneath it, like ha. You got a little h in your speaking with it. And then is the samak and the dalet, or dal. And this bar is hasad. It takes a little while to get used to. Now it reads the love from, or because of, or then, for long suffering. Moreover, ua, made kind. All right. I had to pause there for a moment. But yeah, that's what how it reads in the Albright. When you learn the Albright, you learn that a lot of the Debarium that they use it's written differently. It's, you know, written in a sentence differently. It flows differently, and sometimes it can be an entirely different verse than what the pagan English has written. This is the pagan English is extremely, you know, close to it right here, as far as like the meaning of it. But now I'm going to show you my paper over here, how I broke down the barium on it. Okay, you're going to see some different things up here, and then I'm going to show you some things on the computer. How this is written, why this is written, how it's broken down, why it's broken down. Now, up here at the top, it's ha-ahaba. In English, that is the love. Okay. Now, when you read this, you really need to break it down, like the Devarim, ma'arakat. Ma'arakat is normally, you know, arak is a debar on its own, but ma'araka has the prefix mam and the suffix tau at the end. That therefore it makes it more, like I told you, of a sentence. But you have to know what each letter stands for on its own, and then how it's used too as written in sentences, you know, in the Aubreys. Now, I am not by no means an expert at this at all. This is me just sharing with y'all my findings, my thoughts on this, what I've come to see, what I've come to know through it, okay? You have to do your own research, and there might be something on here that is, you know, is written wrong. But this is what I've found in my studies. This is my study. I'm not telling you this is it. You know, that's not what I'm doing here. But I just want to explain that to you. This is my study and my interpretation of what I found coming across this. Okay. Now you got ha-ahaba, the love, and then ma'araka. And then I had to break down that. I had to break down the mam and the tau at the end. And from the mam being a prefix at the front, mam, when it's used like that, can mean from or because of or than. So I wrote all those down. Now, arak means long suffering, or it can mean long. Now the tau, the th at the end, the tau on its own stands for a mark or a sign or berit. Berit instead of the Debar covenant. But that's what tau means on its own. But if tau is added at the end of a Debar, especially if it's followed, you know, if a u or ua comes before it, it pluralizes things, or pluralizes, you know, whatever you're talking about. But here it's got a, you know, it's followed, the K, the cough comes before that. But long sufferance, you know what I mean. But tau on its own is mark, sign, or berit, but does pluralize the barium a lot of times. The op, now the op is kind of what caught me off guard. The op is what I had to really research on. But then it can mean moreover. But then further research, op can mean, together with arak, it can mean long suffering, refers to the patience of restraining reasonable, well-founded, valid anger. Okay, that really caught my attention. And I was like, well, that just kind of like maybe makes me think of why love is long suffering. You know, and then you start thinking, why is love long suffering? You start thinking about your experiences in Life, Life, and you think about all the times that, you know, and I'm talking serious. I'm not talking about you just got mad at something because you just got mad at something or you didn't like it. Validated anger. Kind of like what just happened, you know, with this past Seamus mess. You know, you've got all these folks out there doing their jolly ho ho and all that hoo ha mess, and you've got your Dom, Blood, your Dom family you come from. Most of those, if not all, of Lanu on this walk with Yahweh have already been pretty much either shunned by the Dom family we come from, or they nitpick, or they make fun of. They totally disregard our Amuna, our belief in Yahweh. They're stuck in Sianity. They do not care. They do not respect you for your belief, your Amuna in Yahweh. Therefore, you know, you tell them, don't wish me a MC, you know, MC mess. It was, you know, I told my mama, don't wish me that. I don't partake in that. And she's like, well, I won't tell you MC, but MC, you know, anyway. And that just really irked my goat. That kind of, you know, ate at me. And it did make me angry to a point. But that was what I would consider as an example of validated anger. You know, I'm standing for what is right and Zadok, what folks call righteousness. And she's all about the balls, HOLD or HOLY, you mean, you know, and did it anyway, didn't care, showed no sign. I don't care, I'm gonna tell you this anyway, blah blah blah. Yeah, that rubbed me wrong. I was still respectful with her, but I had validated anger. I had a right to be angry with what she did, but I did not act out upon that. I kept my cool. That's just kind of a little example of like validated anger. And there's a lot of other examples out there. That's just my example for this, speaking of right now. But in certain contexts, you have to know the context it's been being used in. That's where it makes a lot of, you know, that's why it's written this way. Now, long suffering, it can come in, a lot of times it does. And that's why I'm telling you, I'm not sure exactly on this verse if it means the long suffering comes from the op as far as restrained and reasonable, well-founded, valid anger. Because it can. Long suffering, love that has long suffering can come from that. It humbles you. It restrains and bridles your lashon. You have to be more, you have to have Yahweh more in you than to act out in the flesh. You know, that's really what I spent time on, was that the bar right there. The op. Because the other debarim I knew. You know, I knew the ha and the haba. I knew the asha and the chased. But the arak, I've heard before, but I didn't really research that debar. And then the op. And then I had to figure out why the mam and the tau was at the end of arak. Therefore, it can be that the love from or because of the long suffering from a validated anger is made kind or made into kindness. You know, that's something we have to really, really think and study on, because love, it's kind on its own in a perspective, but there's reasons why it's made kind. Do y'all understand what I'm trying to tell you? It's a very deep thought process here. That akkad debar there, op, it really makes you think, why is the love made kind? Now I'm going to take my writings off of here. And I'm going to move them and put you back on the screen, and I'm going to show you some research on the Debar Op. That way you understand where I'm coming from. So hang on just a few. Okay, let me bring up another screen. I think it's over here. Okay. This is the BIBLE hub. This is a major source that I use a lot of. Excuse me. Now, with this op, of course, it's written with the Aleph. No. It is written. Hang on. Okay, yeah. It's written with the Aleph and the Pa. The reason I got stumbled there is, over here, because it's written in Babylonian, modern Hebrew, I have to, I know these for the most part, but because I have to know them, I have to learn them to be able to do this right here, because they don't have it in the Authios or the Paleo. But to make sure I was right, I still have to go back and check, kind of like, where did it go? Right here. If you look over here, here's the Aleph. There, right here. Let me get my little crochet hook. This is the Aleph. You see that symbol? And over here is the Ayin. You can see the difference in them? Okay. Yeah, I have to recheck the modern Babylonian Hebrew text with what's written here on the Strong's. Right down here. Okay. But anyway, this is the op. And you'll see my research in here. And of course, they've got it pronunciation and phonetic, AF or whatever. And definition, anger, nostril, face, derived from a root word meaning to breathe hard or to be angry. In the Greek Hebrew, often translated as wrath or anger. Used in the Brit Kadashah, what folks call the ENT, to describe both human or divine anger. And then it goes into the scope, more about it. The Abrit Debar Op primarily denotes anger or wrath, often used to describe the intense emotional response of Yahweh or folks. It can too mean referring to the nostril or face, emphasizing the physical manifestation of anger, flaring nostrils, this and that. Therefore, you have to realize that that's the thing about Abrit Debarim. It doesn't just mean a certain thing, it means several things. And you have to know what the context of it is in. Now, where I get that the validated anger, I believe I have that in another window here, because I really researched this Debar now, because I did not want to share anything wrong with y'all. Because, you need to know what you're talking about. To the utmost of your ability, you need to know what you're talking about, okay? Here, maybe it was when I was looking up Iraq. It should be right here somewhere, because I remember that I was like, oh, well, that makes Bina. It makes understanding for me. Okay, instead of making y'all go through this, hang on just a second and I'll show you where I found this. I wanted to show you this too, that when I'm telling you context is everything, and Abrit Debar, it is, because even right here, the Debar prepare in Hebrew is arak, and it can mean to place in order or to arrange, or to lay in order, state in order, place forth. You have to know exactly the context that it is in. Okay, hang on. Okay, here's something I want to show you too. I was trying to find, I had a window, and it's just blows my mind how some windows on my computer just disappear when I have answers to things to show you to explain, and then I can't find them again. um, I've been off of here for about 15 moments trying to find that window, but I can't. But this is important too. The Debar Arak, you need to pay attention how it's written as it is written. Either it's written with Aleph, as it is here. There's the Aleph. Or if it's written, let me show you this. Let me find it. Because it will have it written as the other right here. Okay, remember, this was with the Aleph. This is with the Ayin. Do you see that? Looks like the same Debar, don't it? But it's written with the Ayin here instead of that Arak there. Now, when it's written with the Ayin, and that's not how it's written in this scripture, it can mean to arrange, place in order, prepare, compare, value, place in a row, you know, things like that. To place beside, place in order, to present. That's why you have to, these stupid ads, that's why you have to pay close attention to how it is written, with what it is written with, because there are similar letters like the Aleph or the Ayin. There's another, and that it's written with the letters. They look to be the same, but you have to pay attention to what it is written with. That is written with the Aleph, where in this scripture it is written with Aleph. And this is where you find out what your scripture means. The Aleph. See it? Aleph. And this is, it's sounding to be the same. A lot of it can mean the same, but right here, to be long, right? Value, compare. Come down here. Lengthen, endures, survives, make slow, prolong, long, lingered. You know, in other words, it's made long. That's why they use the Debar Arak in this verse. But I was trying to find where I had a window where it actually showed Arak and Op together. They followed each other, and it gave me what I wrote down here, meaning long suffering, refers to the patience of restraining reasonable, well-founded, validated anger. That was written together, and I can't find that window, but that's what I was trying to show y'all. But anyway, conclusion. Let's go to the conclusion of this, right? Hang on. Let's get back to this. And chesed means kindness, you know, favor, like that. But here it is ha'ahaba marakat ap u'asha chesed. It reads, the love from or because of long suffering, whether it's long suffering through validated anger, I'm not sure, or if it reads the love from or because of long suffering, moreover, op can mean moreover, is made, or is kind, you know, is made kind. The love because of long suffering, moreover, ua, made kind. You know, that op can mean, it can really make this verse. It can really make what it means that much more if you really dig into that verse. Because I know from my experience that because of the long sufferings from validated anger, and not all our anger is validated, y'all know that. Unfortunately, we live in this Rasha, the ball, and we grew up in the mind of Christianity, most, did, or some other type of vulgar religion. And we were brainwashed from the beginning, and then we were woken, literally, by our Ab Yahuwah, because we were always his child, his lad. But we have experienced a lot of op in that context of validated anger, coming to the Ha'amoth, the truth, finding out that we were lied to. We are still being lied to. But that's why you have to study the scriptures to show your own being approved to Yahweh, not to man. If you do not dig it out, you're going to have that same Western mind going on that you were brainwashed with from the beginning, and you're going to bring the Christianity behavior into the walk of Yahweh, and they don't mix. They don't mix. And it is a slow, it is a arak, it is a long process of shedding those scales and losing all of that attachment to you that clung to you from Christianity. And then when it finally, most of it's shed and it drops off, you still have layers to shed, because we were impounded. We were, what's that, the ball that they use? Embalmed. We were embalmed with all the perversions of the Rasha Akkad, just like most folks we know are still, and that is very sorrowful. Okay, but remember, this is a very kind picture, and I still am into the study of, we took down, what you see on our walls now is all of Yahweh. If it doesn't reference Yahweh or give Yahweh the Yada, it's not going to be on the walls as far as pictures goes and stuff like that. I saw this picture. I added this beautiful scripture to it. I'm still not sure if I should do this. I'm still not sure if I should keep this picture or let it go. I really, really, really need to do a deep dive into what Albrith scripture reads in that context. No, I'm not going to be making any images or painting and drawing or wood burning like I used to, images of horses and stuff like that and placing them on the wall, because I did not realize that I worshipped horses then. I had no idea what I was doing, but I will not be ever doing that again. What I struggle with is making beautiful pictures or paintings with Yahweh Shem on it, dedicating it to him, but in return, am I in the same context making a graven image? See, I don't understand that. That's where I'm caught up. That's where I'm struggling. Is do I not make an image of what he's already created? Do you see what I'm telling you? He's created all, bara. He's done all of creation. He's done that. If I make a drawing or a beautiful painting of a harim, like Mountain, or with an S at the end, is that wrong? Is that a graven image? I don't, and dedicating that and putting a beautiful verse to Yahweh. I am struggling with that. Because in the Debal pictures and drawings and paintings, there's artists everywhere, and I can't be part of that same artistry. But is it wrong at the same time for me to take that ability and make and dedicate a beautiful painting to Yahweh with his bara in the background? I am really struggling with this, and like with this picture of my ban and this calf, I'm just having a struggle. It's something I have to really deep dive deep into, and it needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed. It really does in our Zod with Yahweh. I'm gonna leave it at that. I could talk on and on, but I've got other things to do, and I'm sure y'all do too. But Tudah for coming along with me on this study of Ha'ahaba Marach Ap Ua Ashah Chasad, the love from or because of long suffering. Moreover, Ua made kind. Yadaya Ua Mashpaka Rabba Ahaba. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Yahuwah Yashra'al. Rumama Yahuwah Yashra'al. Rumama Yahuwah. Yada Yahuwah.